What's up, gang? Hope you're doing well. This video is how to move different, weight transfer and foot placement from Hunter Rhodes Basketball. So go check him out. Go like and subscribe over on YouTube.
What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to talk about how to move different. And what I mean by that is weight transfer, foot positioning, 1-2 step, a trigger step or a dig step when you trigger that foot into the ground. Okay, just like a sprinter does on a block. Okay, lots of different things here we're going to talk about, just being able to transfer that weight side to side, okay, and make your body shift and flow in a good natural state without being all clunky and stiff. So the best players can move the best. So we got to learn how to move different. Okay, we got to use our feet, we got to use our body, because that's how a defender guards us, right? They don't watch the ball the whole time, they watch our body.
So we talk about this a lot, and we've kind of touched on it watching the Jerome Randall, Chris Johnson training video. I still think the number one thing a player needs to learn is how to go from like the 3-point line to the backboard as quickly as possible and make a layup, like quickly and controlled, obviously. But how can you go from dribbling to full speed to the basket? Like, what's the best foot placement and all that for that? And once they've learned how to do that, I think the building blocks are there for stopping. Right? For stopping and going, because all your crossovers, all your moves should flow into going full speed to the basket. I think the problem with a lot of training is a lot of players start here. A lot of players can't get to the basket full speed. They can't go in a straight line with the basketball. And then they add in the left to right stuff and the bouncy left to right things. And it doesn't feed into just going to the basket full speed.
So when you're able to move
So I'll be interested to see how this builds up.
Okay, it makes you a so much better player. Let's get it. So obviously the camera's really low to the ground, but I want the focus to be on my feet here. So I'm gonna demonstrate a few things. I don't have my guys in the background, okay, that you can see back there, demonstrating some drills that you can do to work on these, just to be able to move better and more smoothly, right? So we're gonna focus on our feet here, okay? So obviously I know you probably can't see my upper half, but we're gonna talk about our foot placement. So I always talk about a 1-2 step. So what I mean by a 1-2 step is just a right-left or a left-right, right? That allows our body to shift and flow in a natural state.
So this is what I mean. Like playing out a triple threat, which is where most players are going to be scoring from. Catch, got to close out, you got triple threat, can't take a 1-2. And that's why I teach, like, whatever it is that you teach, crossover step or an onside step, understanding that footwork. So now when you're dribbling, you should be able to just do that footwork. Just go to the basket like you were in triple threat. Now, most players and most people in general, like we've talked about it with the negative step, if you tell them to run fast, they're going to do a negative step before they go. But that's because they're not already in an athletic stance. So I think the 1-2 is really good for selling your drive, but I wouldn't necessarily use it to activate my drive.
We have
most
a
times.
lot of momentum. So our momentum, if I'm doing a crossover here, which is my favorite, is an AI cross. Okay, if I'm here with the ball in my left hand, right, my right foot's going to be my step to push out, boom, be able to transfer that weight back. So it's a constant flow and change of shift and shifting weight side to side, just like we're playing an instrument here.
I've been hearing the word flow a lot in basketball lately. It's like a recent, is this like the last couple months?
Right, we have rhythm, we have motion. You know, it's just poetry in motion is what good ball handlers, when you see it, that's what they call it. So we're here, step, step, boom. Okay, I'm here. Step, step, boom.
Yeah, this is, to me, this is like kind of teaching the AI crossover, really.
It's a momentum that you gotta master. Step, step, boom. Okay, transfer, right, left. Transfer, right, left. Okay, we're here, right, left, transfer. Now, if I'm going to the right, it'd be the same thing. Left, right, transfer. Okay, left, right, transfer. Okay, the whole time you're moving.
So again, I don't necessarily think it's a problem. I think it's pretty accurate. Like if this is what you're wanting to get better at, like faking left to right, faking right to left, I think this is fine. Again, you gotta think how it's going to build into your game though. So this is more for players wanting to know like how to score, how to get to the basket from this point. Again, at some point this cross has to get you to the basket. It's gotta be going forward at some point. So I've seen a lot of his stuff on like TikTok or YouTube Shorts or whatever. A lot of it is a lot of left to right. And while I do think his left to right stuff is pretty accurate, like it's very good, I don't think you need to focus too much on the left to right. This is good for, honestly, if someone wanted to learn the AI crossover, I would say This is a very good video for that.
So this positioning here, it puts you in a split stance, right? Every single time we're here. And as you can see here, the split stance comes down to like literally almost everything you do in the game of basketball. So right here, if I catch the ball, catch and shoot, right? So everything you do is here. If I catch the ball, rip, drive, in a split stance, and I go. So your footwork, right, the way you flow and move in a game is super crucial to how good you are as a basketball player. So now we're going to talk about our foot placement here, which is an inward step here. So when we step here like this, I know I talked about it in one of my recent videos. Okay, when we hit 1, 2, my feet are pointed in because that allows
feet pointed in.
me to be on that big toe and really.
I think he's got like his toes kind of pigeon toe when he does a lot of these moves. And again, I think it's almost like an over focus of left to right. Interesting. Because I actually think you're supposed to. I think your foot, when you're trying to get power and engage your hips, I actually think your foot points outwards. Like when you're exploding from a split stance, I think your toes naturally want to point outwards. This is interesting. He's saying the opposite. I actually don't know if that's biomechanically healthy. I don't know. I'm not a strength and conditioning expert, but just someone let me know in the comments.
Weight going the other direction. So I'm here, boom, boom, just step. I'm loaded my leg. Now I can push off and go. Okay, and a lot of this comes down to flexibility as well. If you see in young athletes, especially I'm working with the younger kids that I train, the older ones still struggle with it if they're not flexible. When they want to do a crossover, they'll step out and step with their feet straight or even pointing out sometimes like this. That's not good.
I actually think that's supposed, again, I'm not a strength and conditioning expert. Someone go look this up. I'm fairly certain the best way to engage your foot to plant it when you're doing like a crossover, that movement is for your foot, because it's your heel. You're getting all the power mainly from your heel, right? So to drive it into the ground and push off. Like Luka, I think if you go watch Luka, I'm pretty sure his foot points outwards.
Because the first thing you got to do to go over is put on that big toe.
I'm happy to be wrong.
Right, and you have no power to shift because you're on your heel. So you want to have that feet pointed in.
Because I think the foot that's supposed to generate the sprint step, the dig step, the whatever you want to call it, I think it's this foot. So that one's the one you want your toe pointing forward to the basket or whatever, like we talk about. But I think this one, I think it's you're generating a different type of power because you're stopping. Boom, you're stopping, you're engaging your glutes. It's kind of like when you're sprinting. Honestly, this is the best way to think about it. When you're sprinting and you're running suicides, you're running like lines and you're planting on the ground to turn and go the other way. Your foot is typically planted, like you're planting it at a 90-degree angle, right? You're not planting it back towards the direction you want to run completely. You're planting it, touching the ground, and then you're sprinting the other way at like a 90-degree angle. So
right here, now I'm loaded this leg up. If you look at Kyrie, one of the best ball handlers and skilled players of all time, this is exactly how he dribbles. Okay, so you want to move.
I'm gonna look it up. Is that true? So I was looking at a few of them. It's really hard to tell because Kyrie has so much different footwork, but like I think typically his foot's like pointing outside. So when he goes to drive and plant, right here, because you're pushing off this back leg, right? Like it would be really hard to generate that power, I think, if he planted his toe inside. Does that make sense? Like I think when you're generating that power, like and you're pushing off your back leg, I'm pretty sure you're pushing off your legs, your feet this way, not pigeon-toed inwards. I think that actually could be pretty bad for your knees and for your ankles if you do what Hunter was saying.
Replicate what they do. So that's.
And don't get me wrong, extreme elite athletes can get their bodies, their ankles, their limbs into really weird, flexible positions, but I think that's why biomechanics are so important because most players aren't that.
Pretty much our footwork here. our weight transfer going side to side.
Again, like, I'm happy to be wrong. Someone comment below if I'm completely wrong on this.
Playing music in the garage, right? That's what I tell kids all the time. Go play music in the garage. Listen to your favorite song. Get some rhythm while we're playing. Okay, and just working on your balance, your footwork, your rhythm. Okay, everything. Pretty much it. I'm gonna have these guys side. Cross between cross, one of my favorite ones I've ever done. Okay, just moving your body with that basketball, and it all comes down to a 1-2 step. So I'll go slow. I'm gonna have these guys break it down and show you what it would look like from an athlete perspective or a player perspective. So I'm gonna go cross between cross 1-2. I'm in that position now.
Again, I think that just
cross.
I don't know if I like that.
Cross 1-2. Feet are pointed in. I'm in that split stance. Exactly what we talked about. Cross between cross. I'm here. 1-2. 1-2. 1-2. Okay, every single time we're in that 1-2, so we can to the free throw line. Okay, one at a time, and then they'll go back as well. So pay attention to the feet. Leave comments down below if you think they can get better at anything as well, because I'm not going to be doing as much coaching just because I don't. 1-2. 1-2. 1-2. 1-2. 1-2. Good. 1-2. There you go. Actually, Savante, just come back. Yep, just come back. The markers will go so you can get out of the frame of the camera. 1-2. 1-2.
Yeah, I think like it's fine, but this is the move, right? You're not running. I think if you're running to the basket, your toes pointing. This toe would be pointing to the basket, like we talk about, like straight line anyway. So your toes should be pointing like the way you're wanting to go. But then when you go to stop, you can still stop, like in a normal sprint. But I think over. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking
1, 2, 3.
this.
1-2. 1-2.
Maybe I'm learning something.
1-2. Good. 3.
Hold
1-2. 1-2. 1-2, 3. 1-2. 1-2. 1-2. Good. A bit better. I know you guys can hear me over here. Just try to have that 1-2 footwork down more. So go whatever way you're going.
So
I know you guys can hear me over here. Just try to have that 1-2 footwork down more. So go whatever.
Like when people are, this is what I'm talking about. I think when you want to push off, I think that's the way that your toe is wanting to naturally point. And that's where you're generating that power, engaging your hips. I think when your toe is pointing to the inside, I actually don't think you have a lot of power. It's if your toe is pointing inside, I really do think that is more to go forward, left and right, and maybe backwards. But I think when you're trying to go forwards, like, yeah, so I think it's actually making a lot of sense why a lot of his stuff is left to right, left to right, left to right. It's not really teaching how to get downhill, how to get to the basket. I think that's the part most kids struggle with. So I'm not going to watch the whole thing. I think he's done all the explanation he's going to do. But definitely, you guys check it out. You guys let me know. This is how I learn different things and different perspectives as well. I'd be happy to have a conversation with Hunter, but this has given me something to want to go back and kind of learn and pay more attention to. Because I always thought naturally, you're like when you're sprinting, you want your foot, like when you're sprinting, your feet are pretty much like this, right? But what your footwork is like this. But when you dig into the ground to get power, I think your foot goes slightly out. He's advocating for your foot stopping and then generating power the other way, but like with that foot. And I hope I'm explaining that right. But to me, I definitely think this could be cleaned up a little bit. Different philosophies are fine. I'd need to see more of his training videos to know more of his philosophy. But like I said, this is an interesting view, and it'll help me learn. And I know there's a lot of you in the comments that are really big into this sort of stuff. So this will be an interesting conversation. I'm interested. I'm always happy to be wrong and expand. But definitely go check out Hunter Rhodes. Leave a like, leave a follow, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.